welcome back to the Growing Green Show. It's great to be back for one more week. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to keep it up because everything's coming down on us. But for now, we're still here. We're still working for you. I have a couple great guests lined up and some hot topics to go over. So I want to start with the, sorry about that. I want to start with an interview I did a few months back with my friend Kelsey. She's a student at the University of Montana. And per that, we went out and did a little more interviewing and found out what the future of Montana thinks about what's going on right now. So with that, let me give you a quick hi, hello. It's great to be here. It's great to see you. I hope you can see me good. And we're going to get right into these interviews and let you see what's going on with our future. Hi, I'm here with my friend Kelsey, a student at the University of Montana and a medical marijuana card holder. Now, Kelsey, how long have you been a card holder?
About 5 months.
And what was the condition that prompted you to look into getting medical marijuana as a relief?
Well, I've had 2 knee surgeries, and I've had a lot of back problems. So I played softball and various injuries.
Sports are bad for you. I've always said that. So.
They're fun though.
And how old are you?
18.
And this is your first year in college?
Yep.
And how has the use of medical marijuana affected your grades?
I don't think it really has. I mean, I'm still getting A's and B's. I didn't do so well in one class, but it was a very difficult class.
Yeah, I've had classes I didn't do well in either. Yeah. So, with the repeal process up in the legislation right now, as a student, how do you look at what's going on politically with the medical marijuana?
Well, I think they should look at it just like any other prescription, you know. They let everybody have their Percocets and their Xanax and their Vicodin and morphine, which, you know, prescription pills are the #1 killer in Montana, and there's no way you can die on marijuana, so I don't see why it shouldn't be treated just the same as prescriptions, you know.
So if they repeal the Medical Marijuana Act and you're no longer allowed to use medical marijuana, are you going to go to Vicodin or one of the other painkillers?
Oh, definitely not. That stuff's way worse for you than marijuana.
So what will you do?
I would just continue smoking and try not to get caught.
So if you get to the point where you get caught and you're using medical marijuana, they take it away, so you're buying it off the street, and you get caught, will that affect your college? I mean, will they still let you go to school if you get caught using marijuana while you're in school?
Yeah, you just have to go to some, like, over substance class.
I see.
Through the school. And I think you can get like 2 or 3 of them before they decide to kick you out.
So in the end, it could be pain relief or college.
Yeah.
And what do you want to college for?
I'm going to college for psychology and social work.
So what's your ultimate goal when outside of college?
I either want to work in a group home or at an adoption center with foster kids.
And do you have any concerns that medical marijuana will be an issue, if we still have it, that it'll be an issue for employment in your field?
Oh no, because I wouldn't smoke before I went to work or anything. Because it does kind of, you know, alter your mind, and it's, you know, something that you shouldn't take before work, but, you know, after work when you're at home, and that's, you know, you're not going to be around little kids and everything.
There's a small number of minors in the state that have been prescribed medical marijuana. How do you feel going into the field of social work about the concept of using medical marijuana in replace of other drugs given to minors?
Well, my opinion is that it's better that they're using marijuana than, you know, all these other drugs, you know, like Xanax and Percocets and just all these prescription drugs that minors seem to do quite often.
Finding in the parents' cupboards.
Yeah, and their parents are stealing it from neighbors or friends or grandparents or... Well... Interesting.
I don't know if I believe that or not, that's fine. Alright, let's try it again. Take two. So, Kelsey, what other concerns do you have outside of your own self in the repeal that's in the House right now, or Senate?
Well, my caregivers is, you know, they're one of my best friend's parents, and I've known them for a long time, and they have over 200 patients, I think, or something like that, and, you know, that's how they make their money right now. Like, that's how they're living, and that's how they're supporting themselves and their kids, and, you know, I don't see why they would repeal something that has brought so much money and jobs in the economy. I mean, my caregiver employs 2 people full time right now, and they're getting bigger, so.
All right, well, that's all I have for today. I really appreciate you coming on and letting us get some film, getting your point of view across. Have you talked with other students at the college?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of students at the college, and, you know, they kind of agree with most of what I said, and I don't know, nobody really understands why they're trying to repeal it. Like, you can't just take away something that you've given to us.
I think Growing Green needs to get to the school and get a booth set up and get the opinion of the future of America coming out of that school.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show, Kelsey. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to hearing from you again.
All right. Thanks.
I'm Kelly, and we are Growing Green, and we have been at the University of Montana at the Oval getting opinions from students on how they feel about medical marijuana. How do you feel about medical marijuana?
Hi, my name is Margaret. I am a student at the University of Montana. I feel at this point that medical marijuana use is probably the best way to go.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a good thing, and that it helps people.
My name is Cameron Kajawa. I'm a student at the University of Montana, and I believe medical marijuana is a great thing. Patients should be able to take the medicine that works for them.
I am Danielle Benny from the University of Montana, and I feel that medical marijuana is a very good thing. It works for lots of different illnesses.
Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Jack Heyer from the University of Montana. I believe that the dispersion of medical marijuana should be up to the doctor.
My name is Ellen. I'm a student at the University of Montana. I think that medical marijuana is a useful tool.
Hello, my name is Claire.
And I'm Luke.
And we're here to talk about
Medical marijuana.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, our first question was,
How do you feel about medical marijuana?
I feel that medical marijuana is a kind of a way to make people happy about, hey, it's not legal for everyone, but some people can do it. So I think it's a little bit of an excuse to say it's okay for y'all, not okay for y'all. So in my opinion, it should be legal to everyone or no one.
And I think medical marijuana is a good thing just because there's some pain medications that don't work for everybody. So if marijuana works for that person, then why should we make them live in pain?
How do you feel about recreational use of marijuana?
You know, it's basically up to the person. Honestly, I feel that marijuana should be legalized before alcohol because
Recreational anything never really hurt anyone. So I think it's a good thing too.
I think for recreational use, people are going to do it anyways, whether or not it's legal doesn't make much of a difference, and I suppose legalization is a way for the government to tax it and profit it and probably make it safer and eliminate a lot of, drug wars.
For recreational marijuana, I think that it is good in a small amount.
I think marijuana should be legal for personal use.
Montana, and issues regarding recreational use of marijuana I find should be legalized, but heavily taxed based on the current situation in the federal government, highly in debt. Much like alcohol or tobacco, there can be a tax on it to keep the demand low, however, keeping it out of abusive use.
How do you feel about the legislative body trying to repeal a voters' initiative?
I don't think that's good. I personally am in favor of medical marijuana, so any kind of appeal to it, I'm not in favor of.
And I think that the representatives shouldn't be trying to abolish a citizen-elected initiative.
I think it's a lot of BS because we, as the state of Montana, voted this in 2004, and we are not a communist country. So for them to try to go ahead and go above and beyond to take away something that us as a people have voted in is very wrong.
I think that the legislation changing a law that was voted in by voters is just completely wrong, and they shouldn't be doing that.
On issues regarding the voter initiative, I think it's undemocratic to take something out that was voted in by the voters of our state, as long as it regards being a state law under their jurisdiction.
If any law is voted by the majority of the state legislature shouldn't repeal that in any way, just because they're elected by the people, and if this bill is voted for by the people, I don't understand why they would have the right to repeal such a law if it was a majority decision.
And I agree with Luke. If the people want it, I'll let them have it.
I think when it comes to the legislation trying to change it, in this case, it's not really something they should intervene in. It's not harming anybody. It's not taking away civil liberties, and they should probably let the people have their voice.
And that's how I feel about that.
Legalize it.
Woo!
Welcome back. We had a great time filming that. I want to say thanks to all the students that participated and helped us out, shared a little of their time with us and their point of view. Not everyone's view was the same or the one we would want, but it's everyone's view, and that's what counts. So we're back, and Kelsey was kind enough to come down to the studio and do a little bit of more interview with us, I guess, or a follow-up from the last one. So I want to welcome Kelsey. She's a student at U of M. We're in the last week, right? This is finals week coming up?
Yep.
And I'm guessing you're still a card holder, a medical marijuana user?
As of now, yes.
So how are your grades holding? Are you still pulling A's and B's while you've been using marijuana throughout the semester?
Yep. Grades are still all good, and A's and B's.
That's awesome. Now, I guess, and you know what, pardon me if I shouldn't bring this up because I didn't ask you before about this, but I know that like the university doesn't allow you to have medical marijuana on campus even if you have a card. So you park off campus?
I just keep my stuff at a friend's house.
So you have to travel somewhere else to use your medication.
Yeah.
Because they won't let you use it there.
Exactly.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it's really handy.
So how does the current situation, the political situation, go for you? I mean, you weren't there when we were asking those three questions. So how do you feel about the legislature taking away, what we voted in?
Well, one, I think it's stupid that, you can only have 3 patients per caregiver, and that it's non-profit. It costs a lot of money and a lot of effort to grow marijuana, and nobody wants to give it away for free, so I don't really think it's going to do anything. Like,
Now, do you grow your own marijuana, or do you go through a provider at this time? Or a caregiver?
We do both,
You do both?
but mine's at my different house.
All right. So, what do you have, you know, in fallback, I guess? I mean, are you going to be able to go through your doctors? We'll be able to keep it. If you're already growing your own, that's a boom. You know what I mean? If you already know how to grow. Because a lot of people don't. And what we got coming up here in a couple minutes, I'll be able to show you where the governor... Well, Tiffany and her main man, Dan, went up to Kalispell for us. And I guess we'll go ahead and go to that. And I want to thank Kelsey first for coming on. Is there anything more you want to say? Am I cutting you off too soon, hon? Or,
No, I just think it's like, it's going to cause a lot of issues, and it makes me personally sad because my caregiver had so many patients, and they're moving to Arizona now because it's legal there, and it's not going to be here for them, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah, and there's other states opening up legality, while Montana is the only one not only taking away medical marijuana for a lot of people, but taking away a voter initiative. First time ever. This is history right here. We are making history by destroying democracy and being the first state to take away what the voters asked for. That's great. Good job, Montana. Keep it going. So, with that, I want to go ahead and switch over. I'm going to show you the footage that Tiffany and her main man, Dan, as I call him, went up to Kalispell and shot for us. They were at the governor's speech. There's a lot more to it, but I took this little clip out. It's all I had time to edit. So I want to give that to you now.
There are plenty of you going to be plumb mad on all sides. This is one of those issues that when you get all done, legislators, this is the way it works. You ain't got no friends anymore on all sides. But our job as legislators, and I see Senator Buttrey is here, welcome back to your second home or your other home or however this works, that we have got to find a balance that works for everybody. There are plenty of people in Montana that believe that we ought to repeal it. And they sent me their bill, and I vetoed it. There are other people that say, should have left it alone. By golly, it was working just fine. And still there's other people who say, I don't think it's working just fine, it needs to be fixed. And understand this, folks, that are medical users. I'm not talking about the caregivers and the people in the business. Those of you who are in the business of consuming, sir. This bill is tight, it makes it tough, but if your doctor continues to give you a medical marijuana card, you still have the right to possess a certain number of plants for something in your house, plus an additional, I think, 12 seedlings. The law has changed quite a bit, with the final version. Now, if I just look at a show of hands, and I'll just ask you this question. There's some people that are, and some people that aren't. Now raise your hand if you're one of those people that has a tough time raising a plant indoors. You know, when your friend brings you a plant, take care of it for the weekend, and come back and it's dead. Raise your hand if you're one of those kind of people. Oh, about half. Okay. Then there's the other kinds that they grow anything. God knows how they get that name smart. And my wife, she's smart because she's wise. Smart, she can grow anything. But, sir, within this law, you will still have the right to possess a medical marijuana card. You will still have the right to possess marijuana. You will have the opportunity and responsibility to grow your own. That's not the direction that I wanted to go, but that's the direction that we are at. If you're one of those people that's not very good at growing it, and I think it's an easy plant to grow, but probably difficult to grow quality, medicinal quality. My guess is that there are people, well, right now in the business. The reason I guess this is because I went to the inner tubes and I typed in medical marijuana grow boxes. And whoop! There's maybe. I think what you're probably going to have is you're going to have some people make their own. You're going to have some people that are making them and selling them. You're probably going to have still another group of people that any of you live out of town where you have your own well and your water's too hard and so you use the Fullerton man or somebody like that. And And so they rent you the device that puts a little salt in your water, and then they measure it every once in a while, and they add more, add less. It's probably going to be some kind of a business that springs up. For those of you who can't tend to your own physically, emotionally, spiritually, there will be somebody that would be willing to do that. What's it going to cost? I don't know what it's going to cost.
Can't pay them.
Well, and again, I stipulated that people aren't going to be necessarily happy here.
Let's move on. Does anybody have a question for the governor on something other than medical marijuana? Something other than this is not a congressional hearing on medical marijuana, so I'd like to get some other issues on the table.
So there you heard it, folks, right from the governor's mouth. They went through a lot of work to make sure you were going to be unhappy. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's Montana. The first time I came here, I asked for a roast beef sandwich, French dip, and a salad, and as soon as I was finished with my sandwich, they brought me my salad out. So things go a little backwards here from time to time. We're back with Tiffany, our medical chef, and Jason, our bud tender, and we want to talk a little bit about what else Tiff's up in Kalispell. We're going to open our phone lines up now, so you can feel free to call in, ask any questions, or give your comments, or let us know how you feel.
Thank you, Cassidy. First, I'd like to say thank you to the governor, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to tape his speech and being up in Kalispell. There was a tremendous turnout in Kalispell for protesters, about 300 people, I'd say. They were good people, dressed really nice, very quiet, really polite people. There are a lot of people whose lives are going to be changed by this upcoming Law 423. Their lives will be changed completely. Heidi Hanford was up there from Montana Connect, and she's going to lose her magazine. There's going to be no advertisement. In fact, plenty of people they have nothing to do with tending marijuana, only bringing information to people with marijuana, are going to lose their job. It's almost like we're being silenced. They're going out of their way to silence us. But I do feel happy for being able to go up there. Cassidy, phone call. Yay.
Let's see who we got today. Hi, Collier, you're on Growing Green Show. Who we got?
Oh, hey, this is Joe Rosalenza from Montana Biotech down in Bozeman. How you guys doing?
Good, Joe.
Good.
Thanks for checking in with us today. It's good to have you on last week.
Well, okay, it was great to be on.
So, what can we do for you today? Uh-oh, I lost you. I can't hear you, Joe.
Hold on one second, buddy.
Do we got him? Joe, call me back. I'm sorry. I've never been good with this phone.
But while we're waiting for Joe to call us back, I was going to say it was a blessed opportunity to go up there and listen to the governor speak. You know, during the whole 88 days that our government was in session over there.
Okay.
And Joe's back.
Here's Joe. I think. Is this still Joe?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, the phones and, you know, being on the internet and all that sort of really fun stuff. You should see what it's like on C-SPAN if you ever watch that.
Yeah.
So I was just, I just wanted to say something about, you know, about the money and about the advertising real quick, because Tiffany was bringing that up. And let's get something clear real quick and real fast. It says in section 20, it says a person who holds a card, a registered card holder, cannot advertise their marijuana or their marijuana services on the internet, yada, yada, yada. Well, if you're an LLC, or if you're a corporation, you are not, and I talked to the lawyer about this, you are not then a person. And you're allowed to, at will, advertise whatever the F you want.
So do you hear that? Oh my, Joe,
Thank
Joe,
you.
This is such a boon and a blessing that you bring this to us. You hear that, folks? You can still advertise, but you can't. Get that? So what you need to do is go out as a caregiver and get yourself a limited liability company certificate, okay? And I think that runs between $100 and $200. You can go down and you file for that. And then your LLC is not you. It's its own entity, and you are the board of trustees. And you can take that and use that to advertise however you want.
I did something a little bit different, and I'm not suggesting everybody has this opportunity. And I know everybody doesn't have this opportunity. But what I was able to do was I sold my company to my brother for $1. And so now the owner of the company, because I was sole proprietorship, now the owner of the company does not hold a card. The person who does the research, which is me, does the card. Okay, now the other thing about making money, and let's put this aside real quick too, about making money. They say that you cannot make money off of the marijuana or any marijuana products, yada, yada, yada. They do not say anything about services, and that's why Schweitzer was pushing that. The other thing that I was going to stress is that if you are providing medical marijuana, you're also providing other things such as research. If somebody is going to donate to your company for the research that you do regarding medical marijuana, that is not giving you money for medical marijuana. So please, we can work around this, you know, even if it does come to the worst case scenario, but we know that there's a lot of people out there working for this. There's a lot of money being spent on, you know, lawyers to hopefully shut this down. There's, you know, the opportunity to be able to have a voter referendum.
I received email from Rose at Cannabinalysis today, which was actually a forward from Normal, Montana Normal. And I think because of the rules regarding MCAN, I can't actually say the amounts. But it says the fundraising drive to finance legal action to delay or prevent SB 423 from becoming law is going well, but we still need to raise something. And so anyway, they need to get that done by noon tomorrow. So if you're interested in supporting the stop of SB 423, I urge you to contact Normal. John Masterson, John at MontanaNormal, NORML.org.
And every little bit helps.
And that money, just so you guys all know, is going to a wonderful lawyer who has been referred to everybody by a large amount of lawyers in the nation, actually, regarding medical cannabis. And, you know, this lawyer has said that he would take on this for an amount of money, but nobody can work for free. So everybody, we do need to get this lawyer, we do need to get this law taken down, and we do need to donate. So please come in, donate money. Thank you very much.
And on that note, you know, because our Senate feels it's best to work in a caring, loving fashion, I urge all of you to return your paychecks to the government. Turn them back into us, the people that are paying you. Because if we shouldn't make a profit for our work, by God, the people representing us shouldn't either.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'd like to mention that a lot of the proponents that are pushing SB 423 down our throats so much happen to come from counties that have some of the largest methamphetamine production in our state and the biggest problems. And I really have a kind of makes me wonder. You know, where's their priorities at? Meth is a problem. Meth is addictive, and in their areas, they're the ones that are pushing this down everybody's throat. And following all of this, you see very few people asking him to pass SB 423.
Right, I think the largest, from what I've talked to my friends around the state, the largest concern areas seem to be Great Falls and Billings. Yeah, and Kalispell is kind of like on the fence back and forth. But I like Great Falls, it's not anything, they don't have the liberal attitude that they do in Missoula. Again, you don't hear anything from Bozeman, a college town, more liberal and forward thinking. I think one of the problems we have today is the stigmatism of marijuana being the same as it was back in the 50s. You know, we're still pushing reefer madness. People are going to get stoned on marijuana and rape your women and beat your children and steal your stuff. And folks, I don't know how many times it's been proved that it just ain't true. The government was lying to us then. We got people in the government lying to us now. And again, like you said, Joe, it boils down to money. Because the people that are backing the people that are trying to tear this down have big pharmacy, big tobacco, big. And I didn't think that was what we were about. It's funny that the one state in this nation that's supposed to be country and American and still a frontier and the way things were meant to be, is the first one to take away the rights of the people.
And it's an agricultural product. It's renewable. We're putting our people to work. I mean, there's so many of us, and I mean, I work in a greenhouse.
Can I bring up one last thing, just real quick, and I'll let you guys get to some other callers.
You bet.
Bring up one last thing. Read the law through it I read through the law as thoroughly as I could. Once again, I'm a scientist, I'm not a lawyer. But what I can tell you from reading it, it said nothing about seeds. Once again, seeds are not considered usable medical marijuana, okay?
Right, right. Seeds, stems, and roots.
Okay, so, so once again, hey, unique varieties, the little DNA kit, I think there's a company out there, I think called Montana Biotech, and it's a little DNA kit. You can still patent your unique varieties and stuff like that. So no, definitely, seeds are still sellable. They did say clones. They said clones and plants, and you can't sell that, this and the other thing. But no, the seeds, it said nothing about seeds, and please read it over. Read it, you guys. The verbatim, or the verbiage is very, very important. And yeah, they left out seeds.
Right. For every law, there is a loophole, I think a lawyer told me once. So
That's what you got a lawyer for. That's what we pay our lawyers for, to teach us how to do what we want to do.
You know, that's one of the other concerns that seems to be really big for me.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Joe, thank you for coming on. Thanks for calling back in today and keeping us up to date and letting us know, what little bit of good news there is.
All right, I'm going to keep watching.
All right, thanks, Joe.
All right, bye.
So, I was saying there's a lot of people in Montana that are on probation and parole, and I don't have that exact statistic, but I know it's a high amount, higher than a lot of places per capita, basically, or the percentage is high. Now, all of those people, I was told recently, are going to be null and void. They're not going to be allowed, by the way the bill's written, they're not going to be allowed to use medical marijuana. Now, I believe a law was already, or a case was already taken to the Supreme Court that was beat on, because you can't take something that's for a medicinal purpose and say this person can have it, but we don't like this person, they're a bad person, they don't get to be better. Next, we're taking away chemotherapy from cancer patients. We're taking, the kids we don't like at school, they don't get aspirin when they get a headache. I don't understand this. I do understand this. It bottoms back down to the line that certain people are still pushing the stigmatism that marijuana is a hard drug that's destroying lives all around it, when every bit of evidence that we see day after day after day is showing that marijuana is an herbal medication that's helping people get better and live better lives. Better lives every day.
I know that you used to be a representative for AA when you were incarcerated.
No, sir. No, I was a representative of a 12-step group.
Okay.
That we don't mention for the anonymity of the group. The anonymity part of it.
Either way, in the process of going through these treatments and therapies and everything, where they want to say marijuana was the gateway drug, for everybody to move on to the methamphetamine or the cocaine or heroin or whatever. I've been through a certain amount myself, and through all of that, it comes down to one thing: a majority of the people use their first time while they were under the influence of alcohol. Isn't that a surprise? So what really is the gateway drug to other drug use? For the most part, it seems to be alcohol is a common denominator in the usage of a greater percentage of the people.
And the worst demon in America. And don't get me wrong, I don't drink no more, I'm not allowed. But back in the day, I loved me some bourbon and water, and when I was a kid, some tequila and just tequila.
But they bring up about abuse.
Right, and that's...
Everything's abusable. From soda pop, to the foods we eat, to the Tylenol, aspirin,
to the fast food burgers,
I mean, everything's abusable.
People die from overdose on aspirin all the time because it thins your blood, and people don't understand what drugs are. And that's another problem.
We just lost a college student yesterday to an overdose of prescription pain pills.
It said prescription and an illegal. so they were mixing something. I don't know, it might have been alcohol, it might have been...
Right. Something they got from their doctor and something they got from their buddy.
You know.
Prescription drugs that you get from somebody other than your doctor are an illegal drug. So, you know, I mean, it definitely...
And that just reminds me back to the interview we had with the farmers and the kids they were talking about, the kids being young adults, you know, they're 18, 19, 20, 21, but that are college age and going to parties with their college chums and saying, no, I don't drink. I use medical marijuana and I don't really want to mix alcohol with that, or, you know, we don't do that. I just need my card. I just need my card, folks.
Well,
I just need my card.
You know, they're making reference to a whole bunch of people that have quasi reasonable reasons for having their cards. It decriminalizes it for a lot of people. It keeps our money in the communities. Already we're seeing, you know, a decline in illegal product from out of state. And, you know, basically the drug gangs and everything else in all the states that are legal are losing them markets. Our money is staying in our communities. It's being spread around. People are having jobs. There's quite a few growers that used to work out at either Stimson or in the mill in Frenchtown that they had to, you know, I mean, there's not a lot of work here. And I know a lot of the rest of our states the same way. And people have created a job. Granted, it kind of spiraled a little bit out of control, and any of us in industry will agree the fact that there needs to be some regulation. But
there's still more bars than, you know, shops here in town, and Missoula probably has more than any other place. You know, from what I've heard, but nobody's saying that Walmart can't put up 2 superstores in a town with only 60,000 people. Nobody's saying that there can't be a McDonald's every mile and a half down the strip. Well, nobody's saying that you can't have 5 Walgreens in a community with 60,000 people among 30, 50, 100 other drugstores.
Well,
so why are they saying...
would be mad at me for saying this, but the governor's idea of 25 patients per caregiver, you know, that would have created jobs, actually. It would have caused us to, you know, group together so that we could have a co-op for a store. It would have created jobs. It, you know, I mean, the really big people, it's going to hurt them.
And again, it would have been back to being Montana.
But it would have still been a co-op idea, and it's, you know, I mean, we've got a renewable product, and, you know, gas being close to $4 a gallon, and they're saying it's going to go higher. I mean, we've become a service industry state. We rely on tourism. We're actually down on our production for, you know, our agricultural stuff. I mean, this was an opportunity for a lot of people that lost their jobs to create a job when there wasn't any to find. And you know, Schweitzer, people can talk bad about him all they want. He stood up for us. And he's saying it's time we need to stand up ourselves to the imperial oppressors, which happen to be part of our legislature this round. I mean, when you take a voter initiative and you stomp on it, you know, granted, there was, you know, some problems. We all agree with that. And the usage hasn't gone up.
To fix the problems, it was to take away the solution.
They don't want to fix anything. They just want to take it away. Who stands to gain from the loss? The pharmaceuticals companies, they're losing money because a lot of people aren't taking their opiates and their poisons. I don't see a lot of the communities complaining about it. I mean, there were people that made some very stupid decisions about where they placed their stores. You don't place them, you know, across the street from a playground or a park. I mean, come on, get real. But some people have. It's where either where they had. Or
I argue that. I argue that because it's just fallen to stigmatism. There is a park right behind Walmart, or there's a river. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's areas to picnic out by Walgreens on Reserve, across at Wendy's. You can sit at Wendy's and eat a burger and look at the drugstore. Mm-hmm. So why is that allowable? And the fact that somebody's selling an herbal substance that's used to relieve pain, not. Why is it okay? Here's the problem. It's the same problem we have with nudity in American TV. We didn't see the beginning of the Olympics when it was in Canada. No, when it was in Greece, because they had people, naked people, painted as Greek statues in a parade. Canada saw that. But we're too damn good for, we're too good for that in America. We don't allow nudity. We don't want our children to be subject to naked people because they might be something bad if they saw that.
Well,
this is the same country that has the highest rate of sex offenders in the world.
Well,
why? Because we say sex is bad and nobody should do it. And we say drugs are bad and you can't do them. And
Well,
that's why they have drug addiction problems.
In the same aspect, though, over in Europe and Canada and stuff, they don't show a lot of the violence that we see every day in our normal TV programming because that's taboo. You know?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, I mean, the difference in the viewpoints of people, but I mean, violence to them is like X to us.
It's
or
just
nudity.
this Puritan value system that was stuffed down our throat and forced on us and then fear-mongered to where we're afraid to stand up against it. I don't walk down the street and meet people in this that have any bad things to say. There's people that say they don't agree with it, people say they don't like it, but that are bad-mouthed and they don't like marijuana. And they don't like the fact that people are buying and selling and using it because they were told that's illegal from the time they were this tall. And if we continue to tell that to our children, then we'll still be having these battles in our legislature 20 years down the road, 50, 100 years down the road. Because they will, again, nudity's bad, so we have to oppress that. Marijuana is bad, we have to oppress that. And you do what you know. So we either change things today. We say, no, you fear-mongered us long enough. There is no reefer madness. This is a good substance. This is something that helps people. Stop with your lies.
Well, on top of that, though, we have the federal government intervening and, you know, threatening the states for their choices.
Right. Well, let's see who we got here. Go ahead, caller on the Growing Green Show.
Yeah, hi. I have a question. So, do we have any, or do you have any statistics at all on crimes related to marijuana? You know what they do with the pills and stuff like that?
I don't have any with me, and I've been meaning and wanting and trying to research, but I'm working and doing this show. So,
I know that from what I have researched my own self so far, that there are like literally 0 deaths related to marijuana.
Right, and there's a big ad about that.
Thousands of people who die every year from opioids and benzodiazepines and stuff like that.
And let's not leave out drunk driving.
yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you. I was just wondering.
Well, you know, thank you, caller, and thank you for calling in. And I'll try to get some statistics up for the show next week. I'm not promising anything, and it may be our last show, folks, because the advertising problems and the fear. A couple of my sponsors are dropping off, and I don't know that I can afford to push my landlord off long enough to come up with money. So unless I get calls and emails, and here's my email address if you're interested in sponsoring the Growing Green Show. We'll put that up on the screen for you now. If we get people that want to help us continue, then we will, because I sure love bringing this to you.
You have done a fantastic job. I've been following your show every week.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. You've been very informative, and you've had great guests, and it's too bad that you're not continuing.
But we're trying to be.
And we'll try. And I will be here next week. I have Derek from Flame Tree Glass, I believe is the name of it. He's going to come down and blow a pipe live right outside the studio. We're going to switch the cameras around. It's going to be a mess. We're actually out of the studio today and kind of stuffed in the back room because they got some big deal going on after us. But this is really comfortable. It was a nice change. And we're going to, when we get done here, we're going to go to Tiffany, and she's in their little kitchen area. So that'll be different a little for us too. Next week, where Tiffany is usually doing her spot, we're gonna open the curtain up and throw the doors open and let you see how a glass pipe is made. So I hope you're tuning in next week, caller. And thank you so much. Are you still on? Did I run my jibs too long and you hung up? I don't blame you. Okay. Thank you so much, caller.
I'd like to touch on a touchy subject. But, you know, in the cause of world events, we see people rising up against imperial governments, you know, that are oppressing them all over the world right now. Unfortunately, with, you know, them showing that our democracy doesn't work and that they can go and push everything down, I don't advocate that, but I urge everybody to get registered to vote. We're probably going to be passing petitions around here directly. And, you know, let's do this the right way, the democratic way. Register to vote, sign the petitions that are going to come your way, because we're going to try to overturn them. You know, aside from the court cases, I know that that's one of the steps that we're looking to take. And there's only like 360,000 registered voters in the state, which is a way low number. And we're going to be pushing that too. At our caregiver shop, we have voter registration forms. You can get one at the post office. You know, come on, people, you're going to have to stand up. We're going to have to stand up and make this happen, which in a lot of respects, I hear Governor Schweitzer telling us to do, because, I mean, he stood up for us on a lot of things, and he's catching a lot of bad press because he does have family that's in this industry saying he supports these drug dealers and all that. You know, and, you know, within parameters, he stood up, he vetoed the repeal. Not saying that if he vetoed this, that he could get, you know, because all of these legislators gone home and had to deal with their, you know, the people that voted for him. They may have a change of heart, they may change their mind, they may not vote to override his veto. But in the same aspect, it's time for us to, you know, take the stand, sign the petitions, get registered to vote, and make our voices heard in a democratic manner, and, you know, just keep it proper.
Well, you know, and I agree, and please go out, register to vote, and get ready for this, because this is the only thing really in the end that might save us.
We're going to need a cannabis army. We're going to need volunteers, and we're going to need people to hit the streets with us to get these signatures and to help people get registered to vote. So contact your local caregivers. We're all preparing to stand together.
And I'm sure there's also, well, like Jason said, the post office has those, or you could probably go to mt.gov and download something from there, or probably just right on there, register to vote at mt.gov, or it'll have a link to somewhere. At the DMV.
Courthouse.
You know, it's, oh, and I lost where I was going. At the end of that, you were saying, or somewhere back earlier. Oh, earlier you were mentioning, and I want to go over this real quick before we switch over and get you back in the kitchen showing us how to make some great stuff. You were saying, you know, that there's already been a decline in the crime rates. You know, and I'm a cynic. Like I said, I've been locked up. I've seen the way they rotate the doors. I've seen the way they pack the prison twice a year so they can get a bigger check out of the taxpayers. And I ain't lying, folks. I sat there for years and watched them pack the day rooms full so they can get an extra bonus on their state check every year to keep people in the prison. Do we have a caller? Is there anybody there? No, we don't. We lost our caller. So,
and I'll agree with you.
I heard just the other day, this went to the governor's desk, what, a week ago now? We're almost, our 10 days is almost up.
Sunday is our 10th day.
And I think it was 3 days ago I heard that people were busted bringing 48 pounds of marijuana down from Canada. So it looks like it's back on the rise, because they said, hey, look, they can't have their marijuana anymore. We're back in business. I'll tell you what, the cartels in Mexico are jumping up and down cheering, because Montana has a big drug traffic on the highways that run through here from the southern states.
They keep saying that we're a sore state. Now, for our broad-minded Republican legislators, we should become a sore state. We produce some of the best medical. I mean, we're listed in High Times for our strains. You know, why don't we become the production and supply the medical cannabis to the rest of the country? You know, with the feds opening it up, or, you know, at least the seeds are, you know, I mean, we're trying to help everybody else.
Well, right now, though, the Republicans and big companies, you know, I hate to just bash on Republicans, because there's a lot of good people out there that are Republicans. And I just, but it's just that party that seems to have this Puritan value system they're pushing. And it wasn't that way in the beginning. Republican Party, you know, their party line was small government, that the people should run the people. And now they've sold out to big business and become basically a fascist regime and a democracy, which doesn't make any kind of sense. All right, folks, we're going to have to cut this short now. I'm going to do a quick deal, a promo. Might be the last ones, because I'm not sure if we can even say thanks to people that have supported us after next week. So we're going to go to that real quick, and when we come back, Tiffany will be in. What are you showing us today, Tiffany?
Today I'm going to teach everybody how to make pizzas, and I suggest before even I start that you grab a pen and a paper, and you can also check us out on the Growing Green website. But I do suggest making extra, putting them in the freezer. They are going to be a great treat. So I'll see you here in a couple minutes.
All right.
And her food's good, trust me.
Thanks, folks. We'll see you back in the kitchen in just a moment. Here's our word from our sponsors.
We're the Montana Cannabis and Hemp Foundation, your mature, professional, reliable caregivers, located at 401 West Broadway, Suite C, Missoula, Montana.
Thank you, and I hope you grab that pen and paper. We're going to be making some wonderful pizza treats today. So I'm going to say that for our ingredient list, we're going to go to the store and we're going to buy English muffins. I prefer to get the extra crispy ones because all those nicks and crannies really soak up all the sauce. And then we also have our medicated butter that we're going to be using. And then we also have our medicated butter we're going to be using. This is a really good butter. A patient of ours donated it, and it's Harlequin. It's really a great high CBD butter. So we're going to be using that. I have fresh vegetables. I have, I almost called them marshmallows. We have mushrooms, no marshmallows on this pizza. We have onions, green peppers, and for our carnivores, I have a mixture of pepperoni and ham. I prefer to use an organic pizza marinara for my pizza. When I do have time, I like to make my own, but considering tomatoes quite aren't in season right now, we won't be doing that. Okay, so here I have pre-buttered English muffins, but for those that want to see me butter a muffin, we're going to just put about 1/4 of a teaspoon of butter. Oh, Cassidy. So we'll butter your muffin, and then we'll start to build our pizzas. So I'm actually going to leave these here and bring them, the ingredients, to my pizzas. I don't want to put too much pizza sauce on there because the butter is going to create moisture, and it actually is going to be a nice flavor base for our pizza. So I put about 1 tablespoon into the middle and just round it out. I like to keep the sauce away from the edge. That way when it heats up, it can melt into the edge, not over the edge of the pizza. Now pizzas are fun because you can make a ton of different types. I like to get all my ingredients ready for me so that when I'm making my pizzas, it's almost an artsy little project that I get to do. And then I was mentioning earlier that I like to make a bunch of extra pizzas because you can put them into the freezer and then put them into your toaster oven like this and heat them up afterwards, or into the microwave. So I'm going to make a bunch of vegetable pizzas because that's my favorite. I like to get as much healthy food in as possible. So we're going to put some mushrooms down on these pizzas. And some onions. And as I'm making these pizzas, I would like to remind everybody and let everybody know this Sunday, which is Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And Grandma or Mom, if you're watching, happy Mother's Day to you. Down at Osprey Field in Missoula, the Cash Hyde Foundation is putting on a free concert, and we're gonna have about three bands that are headlining. We have Pato Bonton coming, the Voodoo Horseshoes, and a couple of DJs. I think Mancusi's gonna be there. And it's a free event. We do ask for donations. The donations are gonna go to the Cash Hyde Foundation. Cash is a very sweet boy. He was cured when his father decided to use cannabis to help him with his cancer. He had a stage 4 brain tumor and was battling. It was a terrible, terrible thing. So Cash was able to get his cannabis oil through his feeding tube and was able to start eating again. The poor child only went 40 days without eating. So On this Sunday, we are going to have a benefit for Cash and a benefit for his family, and in celebration of him surviving the cancer. So on top of the vegetables, I like to put the cheese. It kind of holds the vegetables in place. And today I'm using a smoked mozzarella because I'm going to spoil myself. It's wonderful. You can use any cheese that's your favorite. Sometimes I use a blend of mozzarella, Parmesan, and cheddar. Sometimes I like to use feta cheese, gives a little bit extra flavor. And then other times, like today, I like to use smoked cheeses. And then for all of our meat lovers here in the studio, as we are going to be enjoying these pizzas if we are patient, I am going to add some pepperoni and ham. Behind me I have the pizzas that I'm going to show you cooking in the toaster oven, and they smell so good. I'm kind of fortunate that on Friday nights I don't have to worry about dinner because I'm usually in the studio cooking something. So, but yes, on Sunday over at Osprey Field, a benefit for Cash Hyde. It's a free event. Children are welcome. There's lots of children events that are going to be happening. We're greatly encouraged. Everybody keep their fingers crossed for sunshine. We're going to be out there and celebrating Cash's recovery and gaining money for the fundraiser. So here I am going to check on our pizzas that I put in here earlier, which look great. And I'm going to use my handy apron as a pizza or a pot holder. Oh, these do look wonderful. I'm going to gently take these out. Oh, I wish you could smell them. They're oozing with cheese. I'm going to put them here. And put these ones into the oven. So I'm putting them into a toaster oven at 400 degrees. At 400 degrees, and I'm putting them in here for about 10 minutes. And I cook them pretty well, make sure everything's crispy. But then you can take them, and so actually have a great day. Thank you for making pizza with us. Awesome. See you next week, hopefully. Hi. Well.
Oh, we're back. Thank you, Tiffany, so much. We look forward to that and to trying those recipes at home. I hope you guys had your pins ready. I want to thank all my guests and the crew and the staff. I want to thank everybody at MCAT that's been so much help running around because I'm stupid and I don't really know what I'm doing. And so they guide me and help me, and step by step we've been able to bring you this show. I couldn't have done this without their help and the help of Tiffany, of Cherie and Tanya, who's helped in the back, of Kelly, who's been out in the field doing interviews, Jason, who's come time and again and helped us. All of these people made this show possible. We will be back next week, folks, so please come and join us. Along with that, we will have show you how to make a pipe on TV. So again, I want to thank Kelsey and Jason and Tiffany and MRL and Normal for sponsoring us, the Montana Cannabis and Hemp Foundation for sponsoring us, Tiffany Street, Sapphire Services, Pops Pipes, what's the name of the art gallery? There was
880 Sign.
880 Sign is their number, and they're one of our newest sponsors, although I don't think they're going to get a chance to because we're not going to be here for that much longer. So next week we will be here. Tune in and call your governor and tell him thanks, but no thanks. We're gonna make a change. That's all I got, folks. I'll see you next week.
I'd like to tell you a bedtime story about my friend who's insane. It might be hazy, a little crazy. I'm dragging a ball in a chain. Bitches calling, vices crawling. My life seems out of control. Nowhere to run.
Power. Power to the people, Mary.